The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and specialty to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to experienced farmers, agricultural specialists, and researchers to apply to the Foundation's private weekly agriculture teaching workshops. If you fall into one of these categories and are interested in plasma technology integration into agriculture, you're invited to apply. Scientists and agricultural practitioners of the Kesh Foundation continually develop and apply new methods of food and fiber production, soil fertility management, plant and livestock health management, and increased farm productivity using the most advanced plasma technology that is taught at the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. In the teaching workshop, you'll learn the science of plasma technology and its applications in the field of agriculture for enhanced and equitable global food production while minimizing costs and external inputs. Practicing farmers and Kesh Foundation scientists will demonstrate their application of plasma technology in agriculture and the ensuing results of such applications, thus deepening and enriching learning for all participants in the private teachings. Participants are encouraged to demonstrate their farming practices in the teaching workshop. The private teachings are broadcast in English live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European Time. If necessary, you may bring a translator to the workshop. All applications are required to provide proof of their education and professional qualifications, must pass a security background check, and are required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. Translators that attend must also pass a security check and sign the World Peace Treaty. For details on how to join the private teachings in agriculture, send an email to agriculture@kfssi.org stating that you'd like to participate. Include in the email your education and agricultural experience and reasons for your interest in plasma technology. Applicants will be contacted with further instructions and details on the application process. The Kesh Foundation is proud to announce the Second Universal Council and Second Science Conferences, which will be held in Rome, March 27th through 31st, 2017. If you're interested in attending both or either conference, please go to www.keshfoundation.org and click on New Web Shop at the top of the homepage. You can attend the conferences as an audience member or participate as a science conference presenter. Presenters will be allocated 1 hour to present products and innovations in Kesh plasma technology in any of the following categories: space technology, health, materials, energy, agriculture, transportation, the environment, GANs and nanotech, and any other area that applies. Foundation distributors and manufacturers will be attending the conference, affording you the opportunity to build relationships to promote and market your products. The full package price for both conferences is €1,650 per person, which includes daily attendance to the conferences, 6-night stay in Rome, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. The full package price for 2 persons for both conferences is €3,300, which includes daily attendance for 2 persons, 6-night stay in Rome, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the conferences. Accommodations for this package include a twin room with a king-size bed. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. You can stay additional nights if you wish at a cost of €175 per night per person. A single ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Council Conference, which takes place on the 27th and 28th, is €750, which includes the price of admission plus 2-night stay in Rome in a 2 single-bed room, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 29th. A 2-person ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Council Conference is €1,500, which includes the price of admission plus 2-night stay in Rome in a hotel room with a king-size bed, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 29th. A single ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Science Conference, which takes place on March 29th through March 31st, is €1,150, which includes the price of admission plus 4-night stay in Rome in a 2 single-bed room, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 28th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. A 2-person ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Science Conference is €2,300, which includes the price of admission plus 4-night stay in Rome in a hotel room with a king-size bed, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations are based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 28th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. If you would like to attend and prefer to make your own arrangements for accommodations, the price of admission to either conference is €200 per day. We look forward to meeting you at the Second Universal Science and Council Conferences in Rome, March 27th through 31st, 2017.
Welcome, everyone, to the 163rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we are here for another workshop with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, as well as other knowledge seekers around the world with various contributions as we go along. And I think we have a full show today, so without further ado, let's see if we can connect with Mr. Keshe there. Is that you in the background there, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, good morning. Good day to you as usual, whenever and wherever you listen to these knowledge seekers. I was asked and I've received a number of communications in respect to the back end of the teaching of last week. Why we have gone and opened in respect to the question of Mr. DL. This thing cannot be isolated. We've been told by the securities, we've been told by the police. There are certain things when we release, the response brings back more information for them. And in a way, last week, disclosures, and now that the security has released, the companies which now, one has been claimed to be a fake, which is a government website, because now it shows what they call it, defrauding the Belgian government since 1980s, has been called a fake, and we've been asked and we've been told, why do you carry on? You have to understand one thing. Our problem is not ours. These people are creating problems for themselves in a way of, as we saw with the Sterling. They have got away with so much that they challenge us, see if you can capture me. And in one of their comments last week, we have been reported to be said, I'm still free. So it means the person is already criminal. That has pushed the police and intelligence and securities to go further. A man who says, I'm still free, it means I've done something wrong, you haven't caught me yet. This is an admission to guilt and defrauding. What has happened is that since last week, since the disclosures of the companies in Panama, in Luxembourg, in Australia, and the Singapore one, which has not been released yet, all brings to the one point that the setup to destroy scientists, to destroy the work of scientists, to steal technology for scientists is a natural habit. I have to thank the Belgian public who has started sending us information and in fulfilling a lot of information, because they understand, they know where in the languages they can go to. And if you're searching for more, please send it to webmaster at the Spaceship Institute that you have found some more information, and we pass it on to the police. What else we have received since last week is absolutely amazing. As you have seen, the securities have released the facts and the truth about Sylvester. The email from the Knights of Malta has been released by them, and other defrauds. But what we see is that there is a pattern of work, and these people work together because they're of the same, and they all somehow end up in Singapore. Sylvester was in Singapore, February of this year. Others who work with us and they try to defraud the foundation end up in Singapore. A lot of you might ask the question, why? This is where they go and get paid. This is where a lot of money by DL and its associates have been hidden. We have all the proof. As you've seen, we released the name of the company in Australia and the rest of it. A disturbing fact has been brought by public to us, which we did not know, we were not aware of, and this puts a total seal on the operation of DL. Some of you must have been very interested to know how one man could come up with so many patent applications. You have to remember what I say. Patent application. DL has never received a patent as far as we can search, unless you can come up or he can put up. You got to understand, he tells you where he has stolen, but we never listen till the public, Belgian public who know their ways, have opened the door for us. If you remember, a simple fact, in all his communication and in all his presentations, even is done with us, he says he was a high-ranking civil servant at Ministry des Affaires Économiques. And at that high level, you've seen him explaining he knows ex-prime ministers and the rest of it. But what the public has brought us, he said, do you know what this ministry is? Do you know where he sat in that ministry? Do you know he's been sacked from that ministry? He did not walk out. This is what they tell us. But we ask the question, what is that building? What is the place? They said something very interesting. All the patents of people who submit patents to Belgium government or patent office goes in the basement of that building. Is kept by this division. And when you're at a high rank, you have access to anything. You can steal any patent. That's why then we came to another point that is very easy. He's been stealing patents from scientists, writing a parallel the way he did with Keshe Foundation, going to China and making a Casimir effect battery. It's actually nano battery, which we all produce, different name. He's done the same thing with the cubically happy. He has no patent on it. It's been brought to our attention. He copyrighted after intimidating the patent owner, which is a gentleman called From, F-R-O-M. Securities released these documents that you can see. He has stolen, intimidated anyone as a top rank. He could see the patents coming in. That's why he was kicked out of the ministry. Because then they could not say, your patents are getting stolen by our management, discrediting the nation and the office of the ministry. Now, this is the information we receive. So now we know the high level, being with ministers, what it meant. He had access to any patent came in, what he could do, and this has opened a very big Pandora. Now we know he still has contact. He still gets the latest, what he thinks he can copy in different name, and he puts in an application. He has never gone as far as it can be seen a full patent. He has never received a patent. As far as it can be seen, they tell us. So even the cubily happy cubily very correctly is a stolen copyright. There is no patent. The patent is owned by Belgium. His name is, and you can check it. So you see, this is the habit of a thief. This is what is called Ministry of Economic Affairs. So now we know why he left the job. He was kicked out of the job stealing patents. Strange enough, we have found in Antwerp Gazette an article by a gentleman called Perrin, who has exposed this, and he intimidated everyone the same. But there is something fundamentally which has been found out, and we've been asked to release. The gentleman who had the copy or the patent put in 1982 of the, what he has called it in a different way name, has died. Guess how? Do you remember Mr. Slout in Holland? The biggest scientist in computer technology compression died of heart attack. Heart problem. Guess what? From has died of the same. Now we see a pattern in him poisoning. The same thing he did with Caroline, the same thing he did with me, the same thing is done with others. Now the police is looking at the serial killer. What we're receiving from public in Belgium is he had not even had mercy on his mother. He would have had, because he values nobody's life. He has mercy on no one as long as he can steal. Now we see connection with another theft of patent. But his copyright, and he's intimidated the patent owner to get it, he didn't give, so he was poisoned the same way. Don't forget, with his own poison, he had a brain hemorrhage and heart attack. So you see, it's the pattern what it does. He's been brought up in Africa. He knows how to use poisons to kill. Heart attack, all heart. Himself, from, we've seen with the slot, we've seen with me and Caroline, and many others. We have started an investigation in the serial killer. We have received another information, which we would like the public to say. As you know, he says he divorced his wife or separated from his wife in 1992. A strange thing has come up by public to us. He was having an affair with a wife of a very well-known dentist, and she had to be got rid of, but she did not die in the accident. The wife found out he's on the street, so he's killed many. We are not talking hypothetical. We delivered everything. Now the securities will release all the patents of Mr. From, F-R-O-M, is the patent owner of the Cube, original patent owner. And if you check, DL never had a patent. He copyrighted and intimidated. That's why he lost his case in America, because he had no right. It's strange enough, Belgian public have started defending themselves because this is giving a bad name to the Belgians. Now they start searching about DL and what is done. What we see, this pattern of work stays with the company in Lowen. And what we said with the head of European Space Agency, because they work together the same way. They have access to all the pattern coming in, how to intimidate, they kill some, they lubricate the others. That's why all the companies offshore has come. We don't make allegations. These are what it is. So what we have asked the police of Holland, we have asked the prosecutors in Belgium to resume 3 bodies. One is of Mr. Slout. One is of From. And for security, as one Belgium said, there is no mercy. A man like this have no one, even not the mother. These pattern of destroying people he does not like, or don't agree with him, or he steals from them, has repeated itself over 30 years. We are dealing with one of the biggest serial killers. Police in Italy, prosecutors in Belgium, police in Holland, and now police in America is looking, because he's traveled and he has copied other scientists in US. He have not received any patent. People like to see, we asked the question, they said they're checking. So he just, all it does, he steals and puts a patent application, and then he runs with it to see what he can do. The only one which he ever made money out of was Cubically Happy, because it was stolen, it was already made and it was shown, because another scientist in Japan made another version of it. He couldn't patent it. What is in public cannot be patented. Now you see we're dealing with the biggest thief of science, of technology, and anything anybody comes up. We could not understand how this man continuously comes up with huge patents, because now we know now. He sits at the top of the Ministry of Economy Affairs, where the wolves downstairs hold the patents of all the nation. He has free, nobody asks questions. Do you remember the movie where The prisoner was given the freedom of helping the head of the prison, and then he took everything, evidence from the head of the prison, what he was doing wrong, and he could walk away. It's the same. He's stolen everything. He's stolen from his nation, and all he's done is patent application. So we are dealing with a serial thief and serial killer. Now, a pattern of killing family, killing friends, poisoning scientists, poisoning anything else which might come, shows a pathological liar, which is one of the biggest things made police officers tell me, if he says Panama is a copy which we have a URL, it directly goes to the government of the Panama, what about the rest of it? So investigation by the finance ministry, exactly where he came, economic or finance of Belgium, on the L has started heavily. Investigation on the murder of the family members and other scientists through the same way, heart attack, heart problem. He had a heart attack and the fear of what we saw. So we thank you, Belgian citizens. We lived amongst you, we have respect for you. But now you see how one by one of you were discredited because the website of the Keshe Foundation was a lucrative path for him. We are asking for 3 bodies to be moved and the remains to be tested for different kind of poisons. We hope we can find them after 30, 40 years. We hope that we can close this chapter. Do you remember the case of the doctor in Manchester? Over 300 murders to get the money from pensioners. Not very long ago, 10 years ago. Now we deal with another serial killer. Maybe all this heavy writing in past year, the same we saw with Sterling, is to get me. I want somebody to capture me. I want somebody to show me. I want to stop, but I can't. That's why we saw Sterling making videos and talking about it so openly, about abuse and all sorts. He is crying out, catch me. I'm still free. You see, you haven't caught me. This is his own writing. This gave the police and the rest incentive to go further. And at the same time, public is providing us with a lot of information about him. His affairs and how some women have disappeared and the children have disappeared. We would like to know the name of the lady is Goget. And believe it or not, what we told you about, the body is buried in Knokke last week. We've taken pictures. Guess where she lives? Knokke. Knokke Heist. It's a beach front. It's where if you go, children, youngsters can be picked up freely and can be disposed of freely. If you look on the map of Belgium, you see Knokke Heist and Knokke. He's a tourist, busy, nobody suspects. He can pick up anything and then he take a picture. So we thank you, Belgium citizens. Please enlighten us more, because whatever you give us goes back to the police. Now we know the gentleman who says made a lot of money out of cubically being happy. He has stolen from another man, intimidated him, being a man of power at the ministry, that he most probably going to get the guy for this and that. Not giving, he poisoned him. He didn't die being young, so, and it's will be published. We don't accuse, it's in a newspaper published by another inventor who he intimidated but he cannot steal from. It's in Belgium newspapers. He escaped with it. They brought it out, but he escaped because he was, as he said, very highly influential person at the Ministry of Finance. But if you can kill your own blood, you can kill anybody. You remember when we released the information about Sterling raping his own 2 children and he walked out? This guy will not, because it's a lot to lose. We are asking more or less a lot of people we came across in past 30 years for remains to be tested. We are not making any accusation. As we said last week to you, we deliver the Panama bank account, Luxembourg and the rest we did. Very clearly, we said it'll be done, and it's done. Our supporters are hacking it and taking it in with him, trying to see how he is doing such a huge, huge, huge murders, stealing, and is getting away with it. The prosecutors in Belgium at the moment want to stop because they don't know if you open how many bodies we're going to take, how many bodies we have to exhume, how many places we have to look for. Do not forget, he works on a coastline. Antwerp to Connacht-Haste. It's a long road. And on that line, you can bury a lot of bodies. If you had no mercy on your own giver of life, how can you have mercy on others? The family have had concern for years. They are reading it. They are following the foundation work and they are releasing. Belgians are following the work. Our security is following the pattern of his work. This is the worst kind of mankind we could ever call. There is no kindness but evilness. Now you know why he's been reading and writing and talking so much. And they go together. If you look at Sylvester, what the security has released on their website shows he claimed to have a pattern for nanomaterials or whatever when he was interviewed, when he came for a job, and we found out this is stolen from another man. So they're all the same. They work the same. All has been released on facts about that by the securities. Do not forget, everything you see on security is shared by the 4 or 5 police, forces, national forces. It is not anymore just what you read. They are there, they are monitoring, they are finding out how he has managed to get away with so many murders. If you can kill the creator of you, how can you have mercy on the others? He has intimidated. We could not understand. He always bragged about being a high-level person at Ministry of the Economy. But one piece of the story was not told. As a top-level officer, he had access to all the patents in the basement, all the patent application form. So you and I, after work, go home. The gentleman goes in the basement stealing patents. Happily cubed. And how can he be the highest patent application submitted? Yes, of course. You have access to the bank of it. And there is a rumors by the Belgians that there is still somebody in that basement who's giving him what he wants. And that's why he's coming up with different patents. Man has no intelligence. And as it was said by the Fosse, one day you are the expert in cosmology, the next day you are an expert in medicine. Now we know why. The experts have written, put it as a pattern. It's very easy. You have access to it, you steal it. So there is an inquiry starting in the Ministry of Economy that now is not safe even to give patent to the patent office in Belgium. Because we've seen another man who is on the same track and has become the head of one of the biggest space organizations in the world. So I thank you as member of the public. You are Belgians, you can read it. The documents have been told by the securities in respect to the Q from will be released in a coming time that you can check We do not talk out of line. We talk very correct because we stand our evidence. There is no accusation that he has had access to basements, the center of the patents, and is in Antwerp Gazette. This brought us to look. There is a fantastic reading. If you want, it can be read. The reading of it is very simple. What it says, I'll read you a chapter of it. This is a public press paper. We are not making it up. That he has access to everything. He's stolen the what he calls his famous invention. It's not his invention. The guy hasn't invented a peanut. He's stolen it from a hardworking scientist who has many patents. His patents all been approved. So he knew where to look. Whatever this guy puts in from, he can steal it. In 1981, during the episode on University of Flanders in 1981, he worked at the Ministry of Economic Affairs. When with a Brussels resident as a patent a few years later. So he had access to all of it. Now we know the man with the most patent is the biggest thief on the scene of the patent. DL, you're exposed. DL, the police on its way to you. Because now we found another man dying of heart problem after a long time because you poisoned him. The same as you did with me. The same as you did with the Slav. The same as you most probably done with some of your own blood, Belgians. The bodies are going to start turning up. And you said, I'm still free. This was the biggest mistake, was writing this. The police is on it. I'm still free. It means you haven't caught me yet. This is your own writing in the past 2 weeks on facts about cash. And as we've seen, the securities have released all the data, and more will be released about Sylvester stealing the letter, the email from the Knights of Malta, and they're hoping that he'll be caught by the police when he goes back, because he accused them of murdering. You don't accuse an organization of murdering you, and you take refuge with the other ones. And in even a letter he says they have no contact with Masons, but this is not the pattern of the Masons. And so we see criminals working together. Sorry to be like this, but we saved. I was explaining to Armin this morning. He said, you're putting a lot of effort into this. I said, yes, I made a promise. I made a promise to the soul of Fabio, and now we get him. But I said to him something very simple. I said, you know something? We got Sterling into prison for life. I don't care how many people which we don't know he's damaged, raped. According to him, he raped 2 of his own daughters. Just imagine. The child, his own daughter, now goes to sleep knowing that the dad cannot touch her anymore. The child can live in peace. And we see the same thing with DL. You were all puzzled. The biggest submitter of applications, none has been approved as long as they can tell us. Sure, he most probably come up with something somewhere. You can put application anywhere. Any of you can do. I open mine immediately in the hand because he served humanity. He intimidated the patent owner, poisoned him, doesn't die, heart problem. He died later on of the heart problem, the same problem he was poisoned by, and copyrighted. He does not have a patent and nothing but intimidation, murder, and serial murder, serial killer. When you don't have mercy on your own creator, how can you have mercy on others who were created peacefully by other mothers? We are dealing with a habitual, as he calls himself, a liar, now a murderer. Many cases. Please sue us. Please bring the case to the court. You challenge us with a logo, we send you a 360,000 per month bills which you are not paying, using us to promote your work. Challenge the Keshe Foundation. I'm meeting with the securities and the police. How are we going to bring you in? Now we are going to exhume 3 bodies, maybe more. And one victim, he had to pretend, I love her, but it was no love. It's the fear of what she might talk, how she was put to be killed. The wife of a very famous dentist. Intimidation and abuse, and she managed to shackle him off after years. That's why the wife divorced him, because would you like to see what happened, the tree with a car wrapping around, murder disguised in accident, attempted murder disguised in accident. So you got to understand why we speak about this man, because he got too close to the foundation and he set up my murder, attempted murder, my wife, and he managed to kill Fabio. We have found link between him and Eastern Bloc Albania. If he's not released by the securities, it will be released soon. We don't fabricate, we don't copy. We release directly. We are working very close with prosecutors in Belgium. We are working very close. This is a huge case. This is not something, they say we know where he is, he can't move. We are watching him 24 hours a day, he can't go anywhere. They are not using even Belgian police force to watch him, that he can be bribed by the higher order through the other sides he's connected to. He's monitored by European police section, because his murders has crossed 3 borders: Holland, Belgium, Italy. We think there are numbers in Germany. There is a discussion to inform German police to open files. So why we do this? Because his work has damaged the foundation's trust in each other, because that's how they work. By creating mistrust, we go forward. The newspapers in Africa will release his name and the warrant for his arrest to be issued for the child trafficking. They are working on it. We had a meeting with the news and the government. They have found how he is the center of trafficking children. How is done? They could not see it. Once we show them, they start working on it. They said, we've seen it, we couldn't understand. And it's done by white girls, mainly Belgian, in orphanages. We released the newspaper cuttings and the newspaper when it's released in public. These are the newspapers which Sylvester and the team have been pressurizing. When they start pressurizing, they said there is something wrong because these people are serving the nation. They start digging. What is that they have to lose, that they have to hide like this? So now you understand the Korean government is onto Mr. Sylvester in a very heavy way. We are meeting with the officials. They are getting delivery of the information on a continuous basis, whatever we gather. There is a track record with all the people who come in the past 18 months since we opened the door of Sterling. People we saw, child trafficking, to orphanages. They all have connection with working with the orphanage, because that's where their master pays them. How many children can they traffic? You saw the women who turned up supporting. You saw Kumaran turned up. You saw the 2 what do you call it, people who are around him all the time, they all have connection. Even the black man who came to assassinate us while Sylvester was sitting in a theater, lecture theater, has a connection with the orphanage. Very strange in Caribbeans. They are collecting children from all over the world for their master. And look, they all end up in Singapore. Government of Singapore has started looking and start shutting their companies in Singapore because they know now they're on track. They are trying to shut as fast as they can before they get caught. Don't forget, they pay people to buy to intimidate. One of the Keshe Foundation directors in China was offered $100,000 to silence that they could patent the Kashmir in China, nobody knows. But he did not sell the Keshe Foundation out. $100,000. So we know the pattern. Kill, intimidate, if you can't, disgrace that you can steal. So we are a scientific teaching, but these criminals on the back of our teaching are gathering children. We have found a new website which, with his own face, he asked and he set up Children Internet. It's on the EL's website. Securities, if they haven't released it, they will release it for you. So it shows a pattern. We showed how they were looking for 6-year-old girls, blondes, put them on the belly last time. Now we found another one. It's owned by the EL, and funny enough, the page which asks for Children Internet, when you click on it, ends up in a porn magazine, in a porn website. Securities will release it. We are not releasing glue, but it shows how when a child clicks to go to on the internet to see a child internet, ends up in porno. Which means in this section we have children you can watch. The domain is owned by DL. The domain is registered and owned by DL. It tells you child internet, you click on it, takes you to a porn section. So we see the pattern of the work. Why do children need to go to a porn page? A porno should not be for children's internet. Security, please release this, and we understand the pattern. His picture, actually his face is on the page, on that page, and the child face internet for children. You click on it. We've been told and we've been shown the page where he puts it there. So when we said he was after children and all that, now you see him. That time he used his children. This time it's his own face on the page, on the web page, and a child being happy. Is actually the man who's happy is him who got another children. And the ones who go and see what's the internet, most probably pedophiles. We are all familiar with the story which is going on about pizzas. I wonder if they give them most probably spaghetti. So why we have to do this is to protect the foundation. The damage which they think they've done, but they served us very well. And it's time for murderer of your own blood to end up in your own blood. We'll force through international police forces for taking the bodies out, testing to see if and how any, after so many years of the remains, we can find a common denominator trace of poison. We know it's arsenic. We know it's been given, you can give it to your mother in a small dosages without her knowing, she dies of diseases. Nobody knows. That's how they gave it to me. They laced with John the papers in the teaching room. Those days we didn't have this writing pad, As I was teaching under the camera, taking page by page, I was poisoning myself. This is what the Italian police have found out. Pages being poisoned. And then they gave me a soup to finish. He helping to write the book the first time in the pictures of it and correcting how pictures going to be. He gave me poison. And the last chalice which I was supposed to take, stupid guy drank it himself and he had a heart attack. How come everybody around him have a heart attack? Everybody dies of heart failure. This time, the murderer drank his own chalice of poison by mistake. And then he took a picture because he knew he's got the book now. He could show to his masters, I know what is written, because that time nobody knew we are writing a book. We were not in public, that's A. So he could claim the book to be his. The technology is his. Now you understand why poisoning. He could claim everything. But unfortunately, he ended up in hospital, and while he was in hospital, we managed to publish the book. Please, Belgian public, you read your own language. You are helping us, you're sending us a lot of information. We thank Lawrence's family for the information you're downloading to us. I respect you, the integrity of what you're doing, and I thank many of Belgians who are delivering huge amount of information, like not knowing why he was kicked out of Ministry of Finance. The same as, remember, Sylvester? I left because they wanted money for me and they wanted to kill me. I left ministry to do the cubically cubed, but in fact he was kicked out because he stole the cubes. And then, thinking he's become very rich, opening beforehand Panama accounts, companies, and the rest of it. I said many times, shame on you to be on this planet, Leo. Now we know how you killed another man. My respect goes to his family, the same as we're collaborating with the Slot's family, now with the police. We will start the resumption of bringing and in a way showing the pattern when and how he stole from the basement of the ministry or from the storages of ministry. He must have been monitoring every single pattern which was coming in. He's a thief by habit. We see compression out of nowhere. Now, Mr. Defosse, we got your answer. How come he's one day this and the other day? Because he's got access through ministry. Don't forget, he's still paying people off in the ministries to give him whatever comes in the latest. That's why you can. How many of you can come with so many patterns of different subjects? Unless you have access to the vault. When you have the key to the museum of the cars, you choose which car you want to take. When you have access at the head of the section, what do? They cannot sack him in a way of public way, because then nobody gives patent, because they are stealing in our place where we give it to be stolen. So they got rid of him. It's there. Read it. Newspaper of Gazette of Antwerp. He lives in Antwerp. It's an Antwerpian who has opened him as a thief and who owns the patent. The patents will be released by security of the man who actually owns it. He has no patent. He's just copied when say I have a copyright, intimidation and killing. So please, our Belgium readers, please search more and bring us more, because it's getting to the point that this man has to be stopped before he kills more. Read about, go on the internet, open the internet, and on the other hand, read what goes on the many things he has registered. he has now is registered for a talking internet, blue, for children, that they can, and it's again stealing from one of the biggest toy manufacturers. It is very interesting how a man who came to destroy, he was begging to get me, I'm still free. Nobody has managed. We saw that with Sterling. Strange enough, go on the internet and look at Global Crystal Network. Again, Albanian connection with the death of Fabio. We were wondering how they have managed to get in there. Crystal Network Global Enterprise. Now you see how we have found the connection of it. Registered name, DL. Organization, his name. And very interesting how he has been at this business, killing people, killing patterns. Now when he says, I'm a pattern writer, yes, what you've stolen from the basement of ministry, you have pretended to be the owner. Now we are asking the Ministry of Economic Affairs to open the books of this gentleman, because it has to be opened. Doesn't matter how much they want to hide, how much they want to protect the nation, that he can submit new ideas, and trying to, in a way, stop this mayhem which he has started. I'll read it for you what is on the internet from the Antwerp. It says, the Antwerp public prosecutor complaint has been against the inventor of the popular game Cubically Happy. The complaint is itself an inventor. Claims that the inventor of the DDD, DL, is an elderly born Brussels man. DL is accused of scams to take the invention of this gentleman. And they give you, this is what is in the public domain. And it's part of a newspaper. And you see it there. There is a prosecutor complaint. He intimidated, and through his connection, the way they do with the prosecutors in Kortrijk, pressurized that well-organized people. They made a lot of money out of being happily cubed. Now, please, securities, release the fact about this little murderer. The biggest criminal Belgium has seen. Most probably by the time they finish with it, he'll bypass the truth. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think we can do something. I am going to release, because it's a publication in the press. Do we need to bring ourselves down? And it goes back that go on the facts about him and read the paper, find the paper, you're Belgians, and find out how the owner of the patent suddenly had a heart problem, and suddenly after a while died off because of the same heart problem. This is absolute madness, how the Belgians have allowed this man to go and patent application. Because he knew he's stolen, he'll never be given. This is how it works. That's why he went to America And he lost the case because he had no case. He was pretending a copyright because he could not deliver the reality of it. We are receiving so much information from every direction. We are receiving vast amount of information from every direction. There are other things which is sitting in the background with the same man and the people who is associated with. You will hear from us about Rothschild Group very soon. We always kept till we had, we can, we deliver, we possess. What we possess in information is shared with you. As I said, we spend a lot of time, but if we can stop one more inventor around the world, one more scientist around the world, freely sharing his knowledge without being intimidated and killed, we have served the humanity. The father has a child and a family. You have to see and talk to the son of Mr. Slout. In his 30s, he still hasn't come to understand how he was in the room when the poison was given to his father and he died the next day. It affects him a lifetime. He has no confidence in living. He's in hospital. They don't destroy a patent, they destroy life of people, and this is what is done. If you can poison slowly your own blood to die, what has given you life, nobody else matters. And then you call it a cancer, or you call it something else. Murders are piling up on DL. In a way, he asked us, please catch me. I'm getting tired of not being caught. I give you a chip up. All these writings, rubbish about Keshe Foundation, was catch me if you can. Now we caught you. You're touched. We release so much information. All the facts about him is read continuously by the police forces around the world. Because now they're all looking. Any country he's traveled to, he has left a trail of murders. And that's what they want to know. He was a frequent visitor to America. The group which captured Sterling are working on him to see how places, which places and what children went missing the day he was there. It's huge. We have, thanks to all of you, I sincerely thank the security team. I sincerely thank the Belgian public who started feeding us with information. I think we could have never known, we could never imagine member of his own family listen to these teachings, and they could not understand how is this possible, and they are feeding us information. How members of the public have started digging around this organization of him with children. When you see a website, we never talk out of line. Securities, please release the website where he's on top of the page, the same as he was with the Belgian politician with his picture on it, and down below, network for children. And when you click on it, ends up in a porn website. Porno, absolute beyond. And most probably beyond it, if you have a right password, children are there too. Website registered in the name, started in the name of DL. Now you understand. We'll give you more. We have to spend time. We are spending huge amount of resources. We are spending a lot of time. Now we found a serial murderer, a serial child abuser. Don't forget, a policeman told me something very, very seriously in the past few hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. He said, you know, his lover in Karnataka, her name is, some of you know, was to be killed. It was an accident that I happened to be there. I was following it to make sure that she is dead, but she survived a horrendous accident. And then the husband divorced her. And then it was on the hand of DL. And then if you have managed to poison to kill your own blood, why not? But this time the wife found out, he was put on the street. What are you doing 2 o'clock in the morning with a woman down the street in whatever area? That's where the body was found, to get disposed of. Nobody was there to see. The tracks could be covered. Most probably he spoke to her about how he killed others and how he patterns things. So we close with this, but we don't finish with this, because now we know he has killed another inventor. We know it's in publication in newspapers. Prosecutors went for him, but they didn't have enough evidence to get him. Now we have plenty of evidence. We are going back to the same prosecutor to open the case. Now we know he's killed more. We are going back. We are encouraging the prosecutors around the world to start bringing DL in. Very soon somebody will issue the full, but the thing is, it's so horrendous they don't even know where to start. When you can kill your own blood, you can kill anybody. Thank you very much for listening. Please, Belgian public, look into all the affairs of DL, how he become part of the ministry at such a high level at a young age, who is promoted him to the high level, that he could do everything and get away with it, and who is still giving him information from the latest patents that he is submitting one after another in subjects he has no idea about. When he kills or intimidates. Thank you very much. Sorry to be a bearer of very good news. We're getting one of the biggest serial murderers out of the scene in Antwerp. And I'm telling you, sir, you are watched by highly security services all around you, because you have touched people in Italy, in Holland, in Belgium, in the United States, in Singapore, in Sierra Leone, in Singapore, in Australia, because there are some murders connected with this in other countries. So, sir, you are touched. You cried to us to catch you. You wrote, I'm still free. Now count your days of freedom. We go back to the teaching. We taught in the past few weeks how you can transfer emotion into direction of the soul, or emotion to the direction of physicality. How do we control the emotion that can react and interact with physicality, that the change in physicality can be instantaneous? You got to remember one principle, and this is the principle of the transformation and transfer of physical conducts of plasma. The source does not change that much. The sun, the strength of the sun, more or less in billions of years, is still the same in the plasma structure of the solar system. Is a distance and the strength of the field in the path of the gravitational magnetic field from the sun which dictates the manifestation of the reality of the entity like Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, and the rest. So what we come to understand is the filtering of the strength which gives you the end product. So if you understand this, you understand that the emotion is the filter. Is understanding the operation of the filter, which is your emotion, which will give you the finger, the toe, the height, the color, and the size, or accepting higher temperature, higher pressures, and the rest. So what we have to learn from now on is how do we use these filters? How do we use our emotion as filter that with it we can change our physical manifestation according to the environment which we come. Because we cannot change the soul. The soul is the giver, is the beginning to the end, is equal in every dimension. If the filtering of fields of the sun are blocked in one side, we see reduction in the heat which comes to Earth, or if it's a massive explosion, what is in our direction, we get the vast of it. I explained this in a teaching long time ago. I said, you know, they call these solar flares, and then we get back with it, and we have our internet and Canadian, what do you call it, electricity is the famous one which got hit years ago. It's the same as a stroke. When the energy comes and the physicality and the emotion cannot handle it, it damages the physicality. You get everything which comes at paralysis and the rest. So there is a similarity in the work of the universe. If we don't understand the work of our brain, we understand now that our soul is not something sitting somewhere, but the creator of our physicality, what we have chosen to call soul, according to the filters put across it, by the physical structure of reducing the strength of the source, ends up in the operation and creation of the brain, where in interaction with the environment ends up with the physicality of the man in control and the direction through what you call the physical part of the brain. If you understood what I just explained, it's very simple. We have to understand how we can control our emotion that can lead to the rapid change of the physicality according to the atmosphere. So what does this mean? You go to a very high density environment, gravitational magnetic field. With the structure of your body now, with the brain not being in control of emotion, you get dissolved in a higher strength. But now, if you understood and you can control your emotion, that you can immediately go to the higher strength and absorb less in the structure of the brain energies, then you become parallel with the environment and your body takes the structure of its environment that it can stay alive. Let me explain to you if it's hard to understand. You know, you get hurt, you get afraid, you start sweating, you start cringing, you start changing your color of your face. Now you have to go a step further. We have done it, it's been part of us. We know how to do it. But because of the condition of the atmosphere of this planet, we never had to practice it. The way when you get shy, you go red because the emotion affects the physicality in receiving so much energy from the soul that manifests itself in different color. We know man has within his structure, if he doesn't want something, he can even through the emotion dictate the cutting, amputation of a limb or part of the body. We do it so perfectly that we call it psychosomatic. What is psychosomatic? Psycho, emotion. We are the same position with this as we were with the Chinese wok, making nano coating and eating gas for centuries. But we never understood. Now we have to understand this process that we are mastering it. It's part of us. The reaction of the soul of the man is the same. You go to China over millions of years, thousands of years, it changes a black man to a China man. Because the emotion has to stand. You get a black skin coming from east central coast of Africa, going to Siberia, becoming the most beautiful skin of white and blonde hair and blue eyes. You put the same man coming out of Africa according to skin and the condition of the environment, becomes Norwegian, Austrian, blonde, different structure. You put him back in the same structure, you send him South America, he becomes a different man according to the environment. It's the environment which has changed the man according to the emotion of the survival. We send him back into the spans of Australia, we get Aborigines. Now we understand the process, we understand it's the emotion which in respect to the environment gives the physicality and appearance of the physicality. But in the space, we don't have the time waiting 10,000 years for the change. The condition of the environment outside dictates the transformation of the reduction or strength in the filtering of the fields of the soul, that the filtering allows the manifestation of new entity as we wish. To be able to live in the environment we have arrived in, for us to become the balancer. And in that environment which dictates the condition of the appearance. This is important. Then you see in a space you do not need no spacesuit. We already wear a spacesuit called the skin of the man. It's the best spacesuit you can ever come. Regenerates itself, changes from color, makes different condition of the presentation. If you get shy, if you get angry, it grows fingers if you need to be, shortens you if the environment dictates. Now this mini trial of the man for thousands of years on this planet is going to be open to the bigger trial in the span of the universe. This is the truth about the spaceship program. This is the truth about how man will go into space now that we understand the science of space technology. We understand the essence of the creation through the work of the plasma. I was with a journalist a couple of days ago, and I said to him, what's your problem? Why do you think you cannot fly from Accra into space? We'll show you the banner of the Keshe Foundation, which is going up most probably next 48 hours. On the site of the land we're building and the site of the university building we have taken, it's very easy. in the center said, "Fly to space from Accra." They laugh. And when we explain to them in a simple way, they say, "Now we become the leader better than the Americans." I said, why not? We learn with them, they are brothers. We work, they made the steps for us to be able to do something else. With the space technology, with the spaceship program, I'll bring the nations to become one. That's the ultimate goal. Because like this, we teach freely. All these teachings which you've been listening to past few years, especially since Christmas that we start opening into the direction of the space technology, will be repeated across this planet many billions of times. You go to courses, how you go into a box, and then you decide how to change your presentation according to the pressure, field strength, and the condition and flow of the magnetic fields, that you start learning how to mutate. To you, these things now is beyond your imagination. In 5 or 10 years' time, you'll speak about it as a man has been in space for a lifetime. I always said many times, when I was in Tehran, the guy said, came from Moscow, and he said, they have a metal thing flies. And I said, crazy man, how can a metal thing fly? He said, yes, they have it, it goes in the air and they carry people in it. And they laughed at him, he became a crazy man. Less than 5 years later, they had the first Mehraba at the airport in Tehran. And they say, my God, the guy wasn't crazy. He saw the future. In 5 or 10 years' time, the way we see the leaders in this technology, now they merge with the world scientists in the space programs, will bring this to a normality like computers. We'll just walk into it. The understanding of the operation of the soul of the man in the filtering of the emotion by the brain of the man will dictate how much the structure of the brain will change, and we become the chameleon of space like the rest of the universal community. We'll understand the essence of creation. We understand the way they created according to the space and the dimension they're in, and if we can find similarities in the strength, we keep part of what we are, we change part to fit into the environment, and we become the passengers of the universe. The work of the Universal Council, which I left them free, the same with the World Council, I left them free. I don't interfere deliberately with none of them, because they have to find their way. It's the job of the 6 members of the World Council to get together. You don't need me. I do not set the standard. I do not come and interfere. I just sit and I say, when are these 6 going to sit down and start making the conditions that their wishes become the wish of humanity? I haven't heard any meeting. Your Excellencies, you are failing humanity. It's your job, all 6 of you, to start and set it. Your wish will be the wish of humanity. We have chosen the most beautiful souls on this planet to be the members of the World Council. I never call for a meeting for the World Council, but if you ask, I'll try to attend to enlighten. I do not take part in the Universal Council meetings, because they have to learn themselves, not for me to set up guidance. They have to learn how to be the filter between the Universal Council and Universal Committee and humanity. And it's the job of the World Council. You 6 Excellencies are not doing your jobs. You have to set and issue your wishes that the humanity takes the course. Because now you know you are the filters between the 2 sides. It is for Universal Council in the meeting which is coming up in Rome. Together they set the course for humanity, the conditions for it, and it'll be done. The World Council, Your Excellencies, cannot be by name. Has to be there through the effort of your souls. Gather together and make decisions. You're being given the power. The core members, the 14 members of the core members' souls are with you. We support, do not interfere. You saw in the last World Council in Rome, there were 4 or 5 of us from the world, what we call it, the core team. We are there to facilitate. You've seen Sandor relentlessly being there to protect. But the soul is there to support the council. You saw Brett. We appear in physicality, but our soul is there to support. You get support from the soul of mankind, we give you the support from the Universal Council soul. Understand the structure. You are filters of the knowledge, the same as the filters of the emotions in the physicality of the man. You are filters, you are the instruments of man receiving what it needs to grow into universal community. This is the job of somebody's microphone. This is the job of you members of Universal Council. You are the emotional part where the other side is the soul of the universe. And it's for you to structure the man to be ready to become part. We don't ask you to issue commands. We ask you to bring the vision of humanity to become peaceful. That's why we don't see salvage. Because the arms of the structure have not managed even to talk to each other. How can you run a factory when there is no management? Understand the structure of your body. Understand in the deep space how you interact, use the emotion, not to change your color to red or change your body to cringe, but you learn how to use different strength of the environment to change the structure of the controlling part you call the brain, to filter different strengths that immediately, instantaneously the physicality follows. This is the secret of creation in the space. This is the way the man will be. You know, you go to schools, driving schools now, you go to diving schools now to learn how to swim and how to drive. You go to classes to learn how to work with computer. In a short time coming, there'll be so many schools how to convert your soul to physicality, and they big tanks and they make fields, and you want to see how is on the planet G69 whatever. You have 20 arms and 16 legs, and how you can do it instantaneously. Because now they feel the environment to be the environment of the planet 6G whatever. So in that environment, you learn how to react fast. You go now, they choose a very few to go in the tanks to become astronauts and cosmonauts for 7 years to how to change a screw. Within a few hours, you learn how to change according to the environment. You cannot change on the atmospheric condition of the earth, because this is the condition you are supposed to be. You got to learn something. If it's very hard for you to understand, why do we see so many people of the universal community in the shape of the man? When we see them, when we detect them, when we video them. Because the condition of this planet enforces this physicality that you can walk, you can stand, you can have, absorb enough energy through the hairs and the fingers. This become yours. They don't change to us. The environment of the gravitational magnetic field of this planet, in this part of the solar system, in this galaxy, dictates 2 liver, 2 kidneys, 1 liver, and the rest of it. Now you understand the truth about the creation of the man and the creation of the universal entities. If you become good at it, you can flick from one environment to another. Today you have 2 hands, the next second you have 14, you don't need no legs because the hand is good enough. You're a monkey, you can jump higher trees and the weight is there. Now you understand where we are taking the mankind. Now you understand how the teaching has to be. Now you understand how the man will set the course for the incoming and upcoming time with the space technology. But this time, it will be equal amongst everyone, and everyone in every nation will be taught the same. As we are done with our teaching, we have set the standard, we have set the trend in past 3 or 4 years. Freely teaching. It's you who decides you want a gans of zinc, or if you want to have copper. As the doctor asked, what can I do, what does the gans of gold does? Try to move to the understanding of the filtering of the strength of the soul that gives you the manifestation of the physicality. Why, when you get afraid, you get short of breath? What emotion strength filters that allows so much to go through the soul to the physicality in such a rapid way? You cannot change here. Wherever you go is the same. But as I said in the teaching of past couple of weeks, man has never dared to jump into space without the clothes, space suit. We don't need it. We have the best space suit. It's the soul of the man. And if you know how to filter it, you have and wear a jacket of any entity in space, according to the environment you arrive. You go on the beach, you go with the swimwear, you go in the North Pole, you go with the jacket and the fur coats. This is the physicality of condition of matter state. Now when you go into the condition of the plasma, it becomes the same, but this time you change. But the only thing you will see is that you will not be able to wear clothes with you. The man's body will be his soul and a sense of creation. When you come to space, you'll come across something very interesting. In many races, the gender does not exist and you cannot tell the difference except when they have decided to be. So the shame of the man to show his reproduction organ and the breast does not exist because you decide internally what you want to be. So we look all the same. There is nothing to hide. The frock of the disguise of the man wearing fancy clothes but nothing inside the brain will change. Because what you carry is what you show. Is the nakedness of the soul of the man. And this is what a lot of you are going to have a problem with. We don't preach, we teach, we enlighten that you can start exercising. Do not try to see if I can grow my finger. It will not happen. It'll take you time because the environmental balance is not there. Make yourself a fish tank of different strength and walk in it and see how you can change. You put your hand in, your finger grows, or some of the fingers disappear because that atmosphere dictates that. I'm going for a skiing holiday. I take my skis, I take my jacket, I take my ski hat and everything else. So, what is going to be? What are we going to do? In a space, the plasma field will dissolve the field strength of the jacket. The ski board with the wood or the metal has no dimension, will not exist. You stand naked. So, the way you stand naked shows the operation of your souls, in a way, shows the filtering you've done to me in that manifestation. The man of space see the light of the soul of the man, not the physicality of the man, because the physicality at the end is subjected to the environment. And it'll be the same with the man. You become an expert in seeing things. Where you see there is no animosity, where you see there is no need to fight because it's there. You want this, it's yours. You want part of my soul because you want to taste how I taste. Have it. Because I create the field for you to feel how I feel. I give it to you freely. The strange thing is our soul has been doing this from the time of inception of the soul, but has never made it open to the man's in the manifestation of physicality on this earth, because the atmospheric condition position of this planet in this galaxy, in this solar system, in this planet dictates for it to be this way. Please start testing. Please start making cubes. Ali in Canada started, and he went the wrong way in the development. And that put us somewhere away. We saw with Jackie going in that course, but being in 2 dimensions of the earth atmospheric and the condition was created, there were things touched. I referred to some people like Farhad a few weeks ago, or regarding Richard, that they are doing some things in different ways, because we have to set. It's for them to learn. It's not for you to boycott and torture them. You want me to tell you how you others are doing things which is not the correct way? When we speak about people, they learned, they have corrected their way. It's not to become anti and against. It's for them. We don't go in the back and do things in the front, that they teach you more and they learn more. We have to be open to be able to learn, not taking a word and boycotting and going there the other way. You don't go to the workshops to become, you go to the workshops to give. What I give is what I learn, and when you give, you learn more. We see in the German group trying to boycott Farhad because Kesh said this. Yes, they do things different than we thought. They learned and they improve. We don't do things in the background. It's the same with Richard. He writes to me, do you know what you said, people? But there is no, the openness us. We praise the way what he learned from it, that now it's for you actually to go to them more, to say, now you know what it is, correct way, show us the correct way, because they learned it. You, humanity, work totally opposite. Try to understand, and you will be the next people who make the next developments, the next structures, the next mistakes, the next conditions. It's you who has to be the pioneer of opening the doors. I tell you something, in a few years' time, blacksmith will not exist. The bread makers, what we used to live and life as dependent on it, we will not touch bread. We'll have it in the museums, because now we can absorb the energy we need according to it. Would you like to take some bread to the planet Zeus? It would not exist, it'll be nothing but energy gone. We will carry the memory of the bread and the taste of it because we have it in our amino acid. Try from now on to create new environmental conditions. Ali became good at it, but he lost his track, got pulled into the other dimensions of whatever. And he's working on it. We saw it with Jackie. It was beautiful work what was going on with Jackie. But you have a problem in this condition. You got to remember, once you leave the environment of the creation of the zone you've done, you have to live the condition of the atmospheric of this planet. It's not that you are any different. You are traveling between two spaces. It's you to condition and understand. In the sea, I want to go deep. I need the swim jackets or whatever, the diving masks and the rest of it. It looks funny if you walk in McDonald's with a full swimming gear you've been diving with, huh? And you say, because it's the same. The condition there does not apply there. Because you're so physical, you have not understood this. If you create a condition of the field strength of a given environment and you stay in it, you'll behave that way. You experience new dimension of life according to what you allow your filter, which is your brain, to allow to manifest in physicality. You will have many schools. Nowadays, you go, you learn this, diving, you go driving school, you go walking school, computer school. Very soon, all these shops will change. Planet Zeus condition, Planet Jeeps condition, Planet so-and-so condition. I want to go for a holiday to Planet Zeus for 3 weeks. So you go practicing. Till you learn that you don't need to go to these schools, because now you learn how to transform. You don't have the fear of what's going to happen to me when I get there, because you convert, you evolve into it. Because this is the way the life works. The fear of unknown has been the cause of this condition. As I said to you very recently, I spoke with one of the top guys responsible for Mars mission by NASA. He's a friend. He's a very good friend. He is responsible for landing the man on Mars in the next decades. He says to me, Mehran, you're boycotted by NASA. Nobody can speak to you. I said, how stupid. The most advanced man in the space technology is boycotted by the worst one? To show the, what do you call, meager understanding of totality? That it puts shame onto them? Or do we work together? He says, there's an instruction at HQ of NASA, nobody can talk to you. Because it shows how stupid we are. You're talking too advanced. Then we can't speak, we can't show you're different. Very soon, NASA will not exist this way. They have to turn to start teaching us as humanity with the equipments and have the finances within the American government, the space technology, Russia, and the same, to advance the man from space into a spaceship. And this is what you got to learn. We will make the swimming tanks of the conditioned different environments of the universe, not for man to change a screw. Because you will make the screw anytime. It'll come for the man that When you put your hand and you know this has got to be something to connect this to this for me to have the comfort of the air conditioning, it'll appear. It'll manifest because it's your wish. You know what it needs to be. You don't need to make, because the energy of the hand gives manifestation to the physicality of what is needed. I'll speak to you in 10 years' time and you will see. How did you know? I'm the messenger of the universe. I can teach you everything. But you as children of man have to learn to understand more and take the shackles of ignorance in respect to the new knowledge away from your eyes and your mind. You'll walk through like the rest of the universal community. We are here to bring peace to man. We are here to deliver the message of universe. We are not here to enforce. We are here to enlighten, to share knowledge, that we see you as equal when you join us. I am the beginning. I am the end. You got to understand to get rid of the fear. There is no unknown. It's the lack of trying to know what we know, how we can convert it to our own understanding and intelligence. You'll be surprised when a man in the next few weeks and months goes to space, or when you create a condition and you see the others of other universes with us, how easily you speak the language. And you say, stupid us, we're trying to learn French when we're speaking English and we can't even do it, and now we understand the language of the universe. Because the language of the universe comes from the soul of the man. And every entity has a center, and it's all the same. You have to understand how to transfer the emotion from the tip of the finger to the center of the brain where it sits. You have to understand how fast you can change this. That in a condition you brought in, it fits the environment. You never die. Man will never die in the deepest space. Accidents will happen when the field gets divided. You go through what we call neutron division. But as long as there are no accidents, the man will survive the spans of universe for millions of years. For thousands of years, according to the man. 1,000 years is a peanut, is a drop of a pin in the life of the universe. They say the universe is 14 billion. You don't even know how many billion years. Happened billions of years before billions of years by order of magnitude. You don't have the tools to see it. You only see the matter part of it. When it comes to the crumb, the stars, the galaxies are nothing but the crumbs of the work of the universe. You never see, you never have the intelligence at this moment in time, till you go into a space and live like the man of the universe to see the truth about the creation of the universe. I am the creator and everything is transparent to all. You will say to yourself, you create yourself according to the environment. I made myself in the shape of myself, not I made man in the shape of the creator. I am the creator, because my soul, the creation of his energy, dictates how I manifest myself. Teaching human race has been nothing but headache and problem, because man is afraid of his own dimensions of existence. I tell you something you will start enjoying. Try, if you understand. Try to understand, because you can do this on this planet. You have the facilities within the structure of your brain to achieve it. There is a limitation to it, and there is a speed to it till you run. Try to change the color of one hand, if you're a white man, to a black, and walk in 2 hours. You can do it. Don't forget, you went from black to white. It's in your DNA, it sits in your RNA. We are not going very far. And try to change the other arm into yellow. At the beginning, horrendous. You might run off it and people might laugh. But when they learn, you teach them how to do, you walk on this. What's happening today is the color is to be half black, 2 whites and 2 toes red. There is no need for a makeup. You carry the makeup of the universe. There is no need for rouge. There is no need for eyelashes. You decide how I want to look, because today this is the energy I need. So I'm going to look blonde, 2 legs black, because everybody will give me attention. I receive what I need for food today. Tomorrow I'm going to be half yellow. Because now if you understood the teaching of today, you understand how to filter the emotion. Because emotion has to be correct to achieve the condition, the manifestation. Man has to start learning the strength of his emotion, the filtering. That's the only thing you can do. Nothing else. You cannot change the physicality because the physicality is dictated by the condition you are in. You cannot change the strength of the soul because the soul stays the same, doesn't matter where you go. So the only path for man is the transition time. There are transition space. What you call emotion. Don't sit there and go, oh, I've got to go black on the tip of this finger because I want to have a black finger today and the other finger I want to be yellow. Sit with the pleasure. What would I give by having a finger? People would look at it and say, oh, look, one finger there. Why do we decorate ourselves and wear these fancy clothes and the makeups? That we get attention. We are hungry. We are the chameleons. We are the peacocks. We are everything to get attention. So I need more attention because I need more energy because I want to go to space and I want to learn this, and the others give you. But man does not understand this at this moment of time. You can practice the evolution of the man within yourself. But that's the limit because of the atmospheric condition of this planet dictates this structure, 2 kidneys. You have to have a filter, you have to have a storage, you have to be able to feel the gaseous part, you have the lung, you have to be able to filter the mineral part, the solid part. This is the kidneys, and you need a storage that you can store whatever it is, because you can't keep on going eating from the earth. When I need it, I take it. Some of the time I'll store it up. The body of the man is a one simple factory working in 2 sections, atmospheric and the physicality. So when you land on a space of another place, the physicality dictates different shape. The atmosphere, if there's a gaseous or you absorb only from the matter state of it, you'll become the state, the shape of what is there to do. Now you see how simple it has been. The only reason you can't change because it's the condition of this planet. I take you on moon. If you understood this, you stand there without the mask and you walk. Now you might need to be a lizard because the pressure is too close. You might have to go underground because this is how it gives you. You don't have oxygen and nitrogen to give to support amino acid, but you can, through a system of the brain, convert the energy that it supports amino acid. This is what we got to learn, not to be afraid of. To understand the space is within the brain of the man, within the capture of his emotion, that it manifests its physicality. I said last week in the teaching, and I say this week in the teaching, go back to the teaching of the medical, where we did public medical teaching, the health teachings. Many, many secrets of the creation I've given there. About every organ. Dr. Elia Kostova taught you the way the medical people do. I taught you the work of the universe. I chose the emotion in every point. Now you understand. Now you understand that without emotion, there is no physicality. It's the space gap of the emotion which creates different kind of physicalities. Why your finger is on the end of your brain, just near to the skull, near the finger, sorry, near the ear. Now look how much filtering is done in that part, in the lower level from the center of the brain, that very little energies has been absorbed by that point, which dictates the shape has to be according to this atmospheric condition finger. Look at the shape of the brain and look at the center point of the soul. And then understand the filtering. Why when you slice a brain you see different layers? Oh, this is the emotion, this is the language, this is exactly what you got to learn, how to change. How can you suddenly not speaking a language, you can speak 10 languages. You can change it yourself. This is the reality of what is to come. And unfortunately, you don't have much time, because you all will change. I'm pushing you to start making the conditions and try to test it. Make rooms in your houses where you can change the fields. When I go in this room, if you can create the right condition that in balance with the atmosphere, in this condition I have, you will see the family will tell you, oh, you had 20 fingers when you were in there. Oh yeah, today I'm in planet Zeus. I wanted to see how he feels. I'm going there for holiday next week. You change it and your child goes in, he wants to go to planet Zeus. So here there are no legs and you can see just the head moving, because it's good enough. You can float with what you have, because it dictates a condition. It sounds crazy because you never understood the truth, but that's what is the truth about the space and deeper space. Try to understand the interaction of the fields. Try to understand the pleasure and understand the limitation of the physicality on this planet. Then you can dictate the emotion. Have you seen the actresses? They say, try to make tears that you're crying. And they sit there and they make tears. How did they do that? They control the emotion, and the emotion transfers itself to the liquid of life. There is no difference. If you understand, I'm glad to have a skin which is yellow and I look like Chinese. It'll be beautiful. It's so nice. It's such a pleasure. I want to be yellow that I can be there. You become yellow. Have you ever asked the question, why people have different color skin? Go in their soul and find out where they wish something to be white. Because at the moment, the skin of the white shows the education and graduation for abuse. I want to be graduated to be abusive, so I want to go different color. Why not all the white want to be black, to become serene, and to become part of the other? Why do we need color? Why can't we all become transparent that it doesn't show where we're coming from? Why don't the Universal Council and the World Council makes that from now on we stay at the power of the same structure, but to the eye of the beholder we are all the same color. Your wish is your command. That's why I don't attend any of your teachings, because I can teach you so much, you misread it, you misconduct. This way you make your path. Listen to the teaching, you understand what you got to do. Why? Excuse me for a second. Rick, would you like to take over? I have to see something, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Rick, is your live stream okay?
As far as I know, is there some issue with that? I'm getting comments coming through as of 5 minutes ago.
Okay, I just seen a post on Facebook, so just wondering.
Sorry about that. So the problem is not the education. The problem is openness of the mind. The problem is understanding the interaction of the fields. There is no problem. It's openness of the acceptance and openness of understanding and openness of applying the right way. It's the way things has to be for us to be intelligent, to understand the work of the universe. For us is the reality of the space gap. At what field you want to release to be in comparison to the environment what to be. Then you understand, as I said many times in past few weeks, there is no need for a spacesuit. And there is no need to go to a class to learn the language of the planet Zeus, because in planet Zeus they speak different language. They all speak the same language. The language of the soul of the man. Into what extent we understand it shall be our own problem. To what extent we are going to accept it, again shall be our own problem. To what extent we can be the reality of the understanding in the totality of the structure. Can we be part of the reality of ourselves? Can we change the situation with our own existence through our emotion? Can we feel our child without actually being physically with it, but through the contact of the soul? How much do we want? How much do we want to bring? What do we want to put in reality in the capture of the life of the man? Do we need to have understanding of the reality, or do we escape into other dimension? But at the end, in one way or another, we're all the same. As we say, the beauty is skin deep. So is with the universal community. The life is the emotion deep. The souls are all the same. We will not look at the manifestation of physicality. We will look at the manifestation of the reality of the essence of what we want to be shown. Where the clothes will not be there to cover us, but the reality of our own physicality will disclose our physical direction and dimension. These teachings for you at this moment is far-fetched. But in the coming time, you'll ask yourself, how come we didn't see it? And how come we didn't understand it? Because still you're not put in a condition you cannot practice. You cannot dive on the ground if you haven't made a pool to jump into the water that you don't hit yourself hard. You have to create a condition that there is a water that you can swim. You have to create a condition that there is a field strength that is in equal dimension, equal to conformation of existence without endangering the separation and division. You will go into environments that you allow the separation and division of your soul, what you call the soul of newborns. Because that soul will start gathering energy from the others that it matures itself to another soul. This is how the creation done in the realms of the Creator. Not with physical sex the man has got used to. The conversion of the neutron to electron and a proton is the true existence of the vision of the creation. That shall be it for the soul of the man. The existence of proton within it, in conjunction with others to structure it, is the same for accumulation of the energies of the universe. So, where do we go? If you look the structure of the atom, it's a male and a female, an electron. And when the male divides, when the female divides, you call it division of neutron, you start a new cycle of life. There is no difference. It's the man who has to understand the truth and the operation of the universal order. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. And once again, I'll remind the viewers, we have 106 viewers, 107 now, in the Zoom here, that they can put their hand up and you have the ability then to become a panelist and ask a question. You see, we've got, well, we have a comment from Tugay that just came up that says, this is the teaching I am waiting for my whole life. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. May your soul be elevated. Colleen mentions, I just wrote 2 heartfelt letters to the White House to help with the World Council, asking to talk to our president about healthcare advances and help with our purposes. I hope this helps. Okay, and Doug mentions, just control our emotions. Fear is just another emotion. Maybe you could speak about that a bit, Mr. Kesh, about the idea of, on the one hand, we have our, you might say, human emotions, but on the other hand, we have this interaction of the soul with the physicality through the emotion that you mentioned. Is there like 2 different ideas there, or is it the same thing? What is fear, for example? How does that come up? How does that dealt with in the realms of the soul.
The fear is a condition that we do not understand where the physicality will show itself. The fear is the condition of how do we allow ourselves to exist without dividing. The fear is, in a way, a restriction we put that we do not want to give anymore. The fear is the strength that puts limitation. The fear is how we can disturb the conditions. The fear is how we can survive the condition. The fear is how much can we give without being taken. The fear is how much can be given without giving of totality.
So in a way, as humans, we have to, or at least as, say, essential selves that are under the conditions of this environment, specifically the gravity and atmosphere of this planet, then we have to balance that, you know, there's this dichotomy, it seems. There's the physicality, there's the soul or essential self part, and they seem to exist in different worlds and they mesh in a way, but it's often conflicting ideas that that get represented. And this emotion is part of this, where you know, fear and well, fear is a good example. That's the one that, as you just explained, especially in, if, for example, fear of going to space in a very, even the physicality way, the physicality thinking, okay, you know, it's time to go to space. Okay, fine, let's go to space. Great. Oh, you mean I have to leave my friends behind that, or my family that doesn't want to go? Well, I don't know if I want to do that. Mean that I have to leave all my things and stuff, my home, of course, and from Earth and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden we're in space, and like you're saying, in a way, we could find ourselves naked, or where we are existing without all the flourishes and sort of heaviness that we encounter on this planet. So that initiates kind of a fear of loss, a fear of insecurity of not knowing what's going to come next, because most of us have our habits and our environment here that's relatively safe in spite of the hazards of this planet, and there are many, but in a way we feel safe compared to being in voidness of space. So I think maybe everyone has to address that in a way to get through that.
Yeah, most probably we have
that some way.
Maybe we have to. Maybe we have to.
One way that's come up recently that I've been pondering, and quite a few others, through the gaming environment, some of the 3D virtual environments that are coming up now are quite incredibly detailed and possibly useful in the way they can be presented if we were to approach it properly. Now, a lot of the games today have, quite violent sort of undertones and lots of guns and weapons and that kind of thing. But if you turn that around, instead of using guns and weapons, having instead of a weapon that shoots, a bullet, you have a weapon that shoots blessings, for example, or that it helps elevate others. The elevating gun, the Gans gun, for example, and other things like this. And where you could go to a planet, you visit a planet, and you start from scratch. You have nothing on this planet. You have to mine to find some copper and zinc and put it together, and then make the GANs and make the materials that you need to exist on that planet. And it could be made in such a way that it walks people through a transformational experience in learning about the basics of how the universe works, but in a virtual world where we can change our character, like you were saying. It reminded me of how we can, if you want 8 legs and 14 arms, you can do that in the virtual environment fairly easily. A lot of people already do that sort of thing, of course. So we can take on different characters. You can be an alien, you can be a male, female, or animal, or whatever you want to manifest as, and learn to do that through the gaming environment, which you would think maybe those skills would transpose over to the real space environment when we are confronted with that, or maybe it'll help us become more familiar, feel more safe in that voidness environment that we might find ourselves in later.
Well, the one thing about that too, Rick, is we are very visual. So you could, like what Mr. Kesh was saying before about enclosing yourself in a box and feeling the differences in the environments, having a visual representation through something like VR would maybe increase the reception or the experience to be able to move forward.
Yeah, I think so. And it's actually better than video in a way, because video is too much of the real world, where the VR is almost very, very close to the real world, but it's got a certain artificiality to it, and it's completely changeable compared to a video, which is too much reality, and it's hard to reimagine it or revisualize into a different configuration, which can be done through the virtual environment. So possibly that could be useful. I'm going to be working with that more in the future to try to set up an environment where one can learn about to progress maybe from the physicality to nanomaterial to GANs to plasma vapor and up into the soul levels of maybe you could have a game where you can actually go from level to level by learning about each level and progressing and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to inspire a bit of interest there in the gamers and other developers out there who might want to work on such projects, because it takes a lot of people to really make it a complete, detailed, thorough environment. It's, you could even work in things like the Wikipedia and other website things right into the game itself. That's the capabilities that are totally available now. So all the information could become available right within the gaming structure, and the way of evolving through, to learn how to evolve, how to move from one level to the next, basically. Okay, I didn't mean to take up so much time with that, but it's just a few thoughts that came up with that.
Okay, would you like to go into the... Would you like to share the other things, other teachings that we had before, if there is no questions?
Good morning, Mr. Kesh. I have a question.
Yes, Azar.
Mr. Kesh, when are we going to become a one planet, one nation?
When the humanity in total decides.
But it's not going to happen ever because too many people are not peaceful. So there's two theories. According to your book, the first theory, my assumption is that our planet is going to be decaying and we're going to give to another planet, another Earth, and then sister Earth. And then at that point, people who are peaceful are going to be transferred to the new one. And the rest of the people are going to die. And the second theory is there must be a threshold of peaceful people because there's never ever going to happen that everybody is going to become peaceful. So if the threshold is 10%, once the 10% happens, simultaneously everybody else become peaceful and automatically we join the universal community. Which one is correct?
Can you explain yourself further, then you find your own answer?
Okay. So I have to figure this out myself.
Okay.
Is the planet, I mean, in your book, you're talking about it has happened before, that a planet has given to our Earth, I mean, another planet has given to our Earth that we came to existence, and sister Earth. And are we in that dilemma again?
What do you mean?
Is the Earth decaying?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the mayhem that's going to happen, or the earthquake, everything happen, is the consequences of decay of the Earth and giving birth to another one. Just like when a female giving a birth and just explosion happen, this Earth is going to go away, and the people who are peaceful are going to be automatically transferred to the new Earth, and the rest of the people that not peaceful, they're going to stay on this planet. They think that is the end of the world, which is not, and they're going to die, and they think everybody else died, but apparently the people who are peaceful have joined the new Earth, has gone, joined the universal community, and life is from the beginning and peaceful.
Yep, but we have to decide as a whole.
But the whole is not going to decide on this. If you want to wait for the whole, look at
the decision of the Universal Council and the World Council.
But the question is, Universal Council, one of the questions I have for Universal Council, why they constantly communicate with the governments? They're not communicating with people.
We don't know what the Universal Council is doing. The work we are not aware of.
But
I watch what they are doing.
But they are communicating with the Earth people, but the people they're communicating with the governments, they're not communicating with us.
We don't know. Ask the members of the Universal Council for the guidance.
Hello, Mr. Kesh. This is Sandy.
Yes, Sandy.
I have a question also, but I'd like to mention to Azar that the communication is going on between the council members right now so that they can understand each other, so that when they do go out and talk to everyone, everyone's equal. That would be my reply to Azar. But my question for you, Mr. Kesh, if I may, quickly, when you said that aliens or ETs that come into our atmosphere, I'll say, really have no choice in how they form, that this atmosphere of ours dictates to lungs, to kidneys, and so forth, as you said. So if that's the case, to me, it seems what you're saying is that when the emotion comes into this atmosphere, it takes on a physicality due to certain parameters. So that would mean that all of us right now are taking on physicalities due to certain parameters, which means our emotional state has already been decided before our physicality came through. So it seems to me there's a higher emotional state that we need to become aware of that I think we're not aware of. Is there a deeper way that we can have the understanding of our truer emotion? Because I have a feeling what we're feeling in this body is just drama and not true and not the soul emotion that I think we're to look for. And so go ahead.
Let me explain to you something. We have put these boundaries and these conditions. It's us who has put the restriction. It's us that have accepted the restriction.
When you say us, okay, and from what I'm feeling, it's the only way I can really put this, is my reality comes into existence because of the emotion I hold. So that what I perceive is to the strength of my emotion.
Yeah.
And therefore, on a context of my body, I do not have the understanding of why I have given myself a white skin and someone else a brown skin and someone else an olive.
No, we haven't given. Is the condition of our emotion in respect to survival at the condition of the environment.
Is it my emotion, though, that is giving me the perception of different, it is my emotion that is giving me the perception of different colored people.
Yeah.
It's my emotion that is saying someone is white or red or whatever.
Yeah.
It is my emotion that has created these different colors. And so when I am looking out at this world, I am only looking at what my emotion is giving me. And therefore, I need to understand what my emotion is and why I'm receiving, why I've made this person red or black or so forth.
Yes, but the thing is, it's not you, it's your ancestors who took the time of travel. You understand? And partially in the future, how you feel your emotion will create evolution to a new direction. There is a theory in the world of science that they say if we hold a change in the body of man over 25 years, it will become permanent and it becomes part of his DNA and RNA. And so if you extend and have children after age of, let's say, 25 or 50, you transfer the knowledge what you gain up to the age of 25. If you have a child at the age of 20, you haven't get the evolution of what happened to you at 10 years old, whatever is not there to be transferred. It hasn't imprinted itself. All of us in the process of the evolution today, we are changing the course of the future for our children, but we are not here to see.
Mr. Cash. Hello, Mr. Cash.
Yes?
I am Jalal
Who's
from
speaking?
Iraq.
Pardon?
I am Jalal from Iraq. I am teaching the Arabic parts in Keshe Foundation.
Yes.
From all this tons of information from the past and from your knowledge, now I think you have give us the real key to the soul and to the universe. My question: why this key we didn't find it in the religions?
The religions are mainly to do with the matter state of the body of the man. Man has not been mature to understand the work of the soul. More or less, it's the first time in the history of man we open the position of the soul. It's the next step. Up to now, our soul and the spirit and everything else was a Holy Ghost and everything else. It's us who will change the course of humanity.
And as you said before, it's really easy, and if you know it, you will laugh. I swear, I laughed about whole my life now in this before 20 minutes, because it's already there. It's only like a suit we are carrying out. We change the suit. That's only.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. I really
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
Mr. Cash, when I was talking about the university.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
When I was.
You are moving somewhere. You're making noise.
I don't think I'm making noise. I think something happening on the other side. But anyway, it's a stop now. When I was talking about universal community, I wasn't talking about us, human on Earth. I was talking about entities outside of planet Earth who are more advanced and they're all peaceful. Why they definitely have communication with the government. Why they communicating with the government, not directly with people? Because they can become a big game changer if they approach.
You got to realize there's somebody's voice box is open. You got to realize the governments themselves play the same game. The government themselves are part of the structure of the change themselves. The governments are, not every government is or has been. We know some certain governments of more what we call leading governments claim to be and have been in touch or been taught to change the course of humanity, but the knowledge given has been abused. If you look at it, the present condition of the world leaders and the prophet of the past is no different. If there are thoughts instead of using for betterment of humanity, they have used it to damage each other more.
So those privileges can be taken away if they've been given the gift to help humanity.
You can never take away. This is not a job. It's for the maturity of the man. You see, when you look at the oceans, the animals in this planet eat each other. They plan, they connive. Have you seen how a pack of lions sets up the other animals to catch? It's become the habit, the structure of here is packages of food to exist, which causes this. And the packages, due to the strength of the time and the closeness to the earth, dictate the life and the span. Why do some trees last 2,000 to 3,000 years? And why the life of a lion is only a couple of decades? This is the condition of the exchange, a confirmation of the existence in different level. It's us who has to dictate, not anything else or nobody else. It's us who have to dictate the condition and the change.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And another thing is, are we in a practice mode to be transferred to universal community? Because for the past couple of months, there is certain event happening to me that I cannot figure out what's going on. One of the incidents was the other day I went to the elevator. There was a woman walking with two children, and the elevator closed. And then suddenly I found myself in the elevator, and the woman wasn't there, the children weren't there. And it took me a couple of minutes to figure out, apparently the elevator door has opened, they had gone out, but there was a time that was missing between the time I got into the elevator and they left the elevator. The elevator was closed and I was still there, but that missing time I wasn't there and I didn't know where I was. So this is not
This
the
happens time lapse. We've seen this quite a lot with people who are near and they become more aware of their own existence. The more you become in peace with yourself, you find that condition.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, you're not the first one we heard, but it's part of it.
Okay.
Should I show that pendulum video,
Yes.
Mr. Kish?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We're just watching. I don't need to make any comments on it. It's what they have been done.
I'll put the
Are
sound
there
on.
any
There's,
questions or
yeah, maybe we should ask that first, of course. We're hearing some feedback somewhere. Okay, it's okay now.
okay.
I mean, there are some other questions, but not directly related. So let's have a look at the video, perhaps. That might be appropriate. And
Just to let you know, it looks like Paul's having an issue with his microphone, and that's what the problem is.
Pardon?
It looks like Paul from Togo is having an issue
Yeah.
with that microphone, so that's what that buzz
Okay,
is.
we see a line. What is this line?
yeah, I'm just, okay, there we are. Just had to get this set up properly here. There, I think I have it. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll play the video now.
Yes.
Today I want to share a little experiment with the zinc balls, the play with emotions that Mr. Kish was asking to play with it. So what I've done is I make a bottle of GANs, a combination of GANs with zinc oxide, the first one I ever made. Then another zinc oxide that I made in another time, later, 2-3 months ago, what is still on place in the box. I added the food GANs, where I supposed there is also zinc in it, and also with the shell of egg, and the shell of oyster, and the curcuma, and the pepper. And then I add also seaweed GANs, and the Mr. Cohan of food GANs, and of zinc GANs, of the 2 baths I made. So what I did it in a bottle, and then I filled up 2 balls, a little ball you see here in the middle, and then a bigger ball, because I wanted to play with 2 different mass. You see, this one was the whole afternoon with me in the teaching, and it still stays on the bottom of the ball. The other one was also with me in the teaching, and what happened is that, you see, I will do it very slowly. I bring it to the camera. The guns was going to one side of the ball, even if it was on the same way nearby me. It was climbing a little bit on the left side to my side, I can say. So it was a very interesting overview of the 161 knowledge seekers of Mr. Cachet, and it was very soul related, and in me it was a very sensation of being home in the matter, to understand more than a period before. What I did also is I took a little pendulum and I filled the pendulum, so it's a bottle of glass with a point of copper and a screw of copper. So I filled it up completely with the same GANs. I just added a little bit of a powder of iron that I have in the play box from children's to play with magnets. I added because I thought it was magnetical, and so it could give me another result than without it. So what happened? It was in my pocket about a week in a little bag, and after a week all the liquid plasma that I took in it was gone. The little bag where I placed it in was never wet, so I don't know what happened with the liquid plasma, and you see a little bit of drought GANs on the border, and also the powder of iron you see on the back is still there. So you saw in the beginning of the film I made now, I hang the pendulum on a tent of wooden stock, and in the beginning it turns around, and after a while, if I begin the film, it stops turning. But it is another result if I hold the pendulum. So I will try to, what was my purpose was first of all to show that the GANs moves a little bit in the 3 hours teaching in the ball. So that was one thing. In the beginning this morning in the teaching, there was a little bit of discussion how to do the translating or so. So there was a little bit of thoughts who are not totally in harmony. What happens then is that in the ball, the GANs goes the other way. So it climbs away from me because I didn't feel happy with such a discussion, but it's okay. But I saw that my feeling was the mirror of my feeling. So now what I try to do with the pendulum is I will try to show you something. I hope it will do it again. If I hold the pendulum above the ball, I try to hold my hand very still. So at first, so what I want to show is what is happening in the interaction of the fields. Here there is no contact directly. So now we see the pendulum turned right, clockwise. Could be that the field is magnetical. But what we see is that the field interaction change to gravitational. And the interaction of my field is important because with the wooden construction, it don't give fields interaction. So I could suppose the pendulum is a translator or a shower of my field in interaction with the ball. I don't know. So now I can ask the strength of the field. Or the strength of the interaction. So I did the same yesterday. And the fields were changing a lot faster from clockwise to counterclockwise. And another thing is that the bottle of the pendulum, I cannot open it anymore. It's so close that with my hands I cannot open it at that moment. So I don't know what all this can mean, but we see interaction. That is true. So thank you to watch, and maybe there is given an explanation by Mr. Keshe. I hope so. And thank you for all the knowledge, to all of you, all the work. To go together, fly as souls to a better place, in peace and harmony. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a video. We've seen this video work. pendulum.
I just wanted to say that the name was Pim Catry. I believe that person's from Belgium, actually. And she's one of the KFSSI students who contributed this video.
When you look at the hand, its hand moves, most probably. We've seen this work of pendulum. And if you go back into Italian history, there is a church where they hung the first pendulum, confirming that the earth rotates and everything else we've seen. The part of the movement is because of the hand, but the first man who hung a pendulum in the church we've seen. This is the interaction of the field. That's normal. But how do we measure it? You've seen the hand motion when the pendulum was held. It's not a steady position, but it's not something abnormal. It's something we know for centuries. But we have to understand, if we keep the same pendulum in the same condition and we change the balls, different density of the balls, how would it change the motion of the pendulum?
Well, let me give another example, Mr. Kesh, that was also sent to me recently, and it's quite interesting where if we take it to the same pendulum idea to the next level here. Let me just get the screen share up and let's see here. There we go. This is a French person, Alain Jamet, and he shows some pictures of like a health pen type configurations, first of all, and he has them labeled, and goes on to show the nanocoding process and whatnot, which is all things we've seen before. And then he gets into this scale. This it's a special scale that uses different means. He uses a pendulum to indicate the magnitudes on the scale, essentially. The different, it's like a sort of electromagnetic scale, but it's a strength scale, and it goes, you can get it in different, or make it in different levels and so on. So he has the pen number 1, the basic straight, looks like straight copper wire, looks like plain copper in this case. Here is this image, and then each one gets tested. You see the first one seems to be 270,000 UB. I think they're, what was it called, the Bovis units, I think it is. BU normally in English, units, Bovis, Bovi. And then with the nano-coated one shows almost double that at 510,000. And then we have a coiled up, several coils, and it shows stronger than the plain one above. But then the nano-coated one beside it shows, what, 3 times the strength or something like that. It looks like it might even be the same pin or the same coil in this case, then it's just nano-coated. And so same deal, 720,000, looks like the same one. Yeah, it's got the same end on it. The same one shows up as 1,700,000. And again, you see this similar tendencies seem to happen for the nano-coated versus the plain copper units. And then he goes on to create more nanomaterials and coils and whatnot, and actually has several parts to this thing. He checks out all of his coils according to what they register, and tries different techniques and so on. And he actually pointed my attention to part number 4 here. Let me go back to that, page 4 rather. And So we see the coils here, the round coils that are traditional in the MagRav units. And you can see the difference again between the regular round coil in copper, which is fairly strong according to this rating method. And the nano-coated again, around 3 or 4 times the strength of that, of the field strength detector is what it is supposed to be. Let me see what else is involved here. It shows, for example, you can have a chart in millions, or in 100 millions, or in 1,000 millions. And it seems kind of arbitrary in a way, but in another way, the process, you know, does your hand move the pendulum, or is your hand moved by the fields which moves the pendulum, you might say. It gets a little, you know, hard to understand, but yet many people have used this with good results to figure out strengths of different materials or different medications and all kinds of things like that. So how accurate it is, it would be interesting to do what's called like a double-blind test, or, you know, can it be duplicated and replicated and that sort of thing. But it's definitely a popular method, this Bovis method of trying to get, it's basically a way of getting a handle on the strength. How do we measure the strength of a plasma field? And that seems to be something that comes up a lot.
This is one of the, I wonder what happened if you put a bowl of water and a GANS.
Well, it may have come up on one of these other pages. I'm not sure here. He's got some plasma capacitors, for example. And he's putting, well, it looks pretty high here. We have the plain copper one at 15 million UB, and the nano-coated one is less than double this time at 27 million. But it looks like the full-on one at the bottom is at 85 million.
Yeah, well, it's got attachment to it.
Yeah, I'm not clear on what that means.
Yeah, but the thing is, as I said, we have to, as the leaders and the frontiers of this technology, come up with a method to measure. We have to understand the plasma condition. But how do we scale it? But do we scale it 3-dimensional? What would be the measurement if these materials are not sitting on the table and they're off the table? Would we see the true? Is it the reason why they carry much more strength? Is because they're further away with the spots in than the whole flat bar? In the teachings, I often refer to these things, and this is important. There's nothing wrong with it. It's nice. It's something we need to further carry on with this, to understand more of the properties of how do, as I said, the standard board is asking us for delivery of a measurement system.
Right, exactly.
So this is nice to see, but how do we measure this? Is it by the pendulum, where it goes?
Yeah, that's right. That's essentially, and
is the pendulum most probably the best way? Wouldn't it be better that if we hang this unit?
Yes, well, this is the thing, though. The human soul or essence has to get involved with it. Is the way it goes, and those that work with this have methods to try to bypass the physicality, all the physicality stuff going on. If you're in a bad mood, try to not allow that to affect it.
Let's go a step further. What about if we hang this bunch of coils on the same thread from the same point and see how the pendulum reacts. This is two-dimensional because the pendulum takes a three-dimension. This is sitting on the table. Some of its fields are on the ground, shared with the table molecules and the structure. So what about if you hang it, would we see a higher? And then what about get a bowl of GANs of water and GANs of zinc, get a bowl of other ganses and see if the interaction comes and what the strength. This is beautiful. What we saw in the first and what we see here, it's the beginning. People start thinking, and these are the beginning of the structures. And this is fantastic. This is what we've been asking for.
Similar method to what they call dowsing, where you have two rods in your hands and the rods separate and come together according to whether there's water, or you can use it for metals and that kind of thing. People have found gold with it, but generally it's used for water. And it can be two sticks or two metal rods, or people do seem to get sensitive. I know in rural areas, there's usually a local person who's sensitive to these rods and water, and they're called out when it's time to drill a well, and they'll actually select the point on the land where the well's to be drilled. And it's interesting. It's hard for me to believe, but yet it's come up so many times in my life that I've heard of this, right from when I was a kid to even just a few days ago. That technique is quite popular and accepted. Actually, it's not just a wise tale, and it proves out it's not something. Otherwise, they would have lynched these guys years ago.
Yeah, but if you look, the guys in Arizona did that a few weeks ago.
Mr. Kesh,
sorry.
And
yes.
Both of you, I have done. We did the dowsing with the rod here at home. We took an apple and we sprayed GANs on it. We checked with the dowsing rod first, and it was almost zero. It was very close to it. It started to move. When we sprayed the GANs water, it became about 6 feet away. And then an interesting thing, what I did, Mr. Cash probably knows about this. I said a prayer to the apple, to another apple. We checked it before, it was the same thing as the other apple. We said a prayer to the apple, we checked it with the dowsing rod, and the same thing happened as if you put the GANs on it. The same distance.
We have to create system for measurements. This is the beginning. This is beautiful to see, but the people who did this, and I'm sure they're listening, go to the next step. Use a bowl of GANs, but not touching the floor. Touch the ground and let it hang from the same type of same place more or less, and see what you get. Put the core or the ball of GANs lower, but not touching the table. Raise it higher and see if by height separation from a distance will change. There is nothing wrong with it, but these are the innovative ways. We have to find a way how to measure it. We have a huge gap in the knowledge of the measurement of the field of a plasma, and it's for us to complete it. It's for us to understand it and to achieve it.
Mr. Cash, I did another test as well. I took 2 patches of CO2 zinc, and usually if I go on a Stairmaster, I can do 30 minutes high intensity maximum. I put 2 patches of CO2 zinc on my shoulder, on my under my sports bra, and I did 1 hour high intensity, and my body felt way different than the first time. It means it does something to your body that you can actually doing more extensive work physically than normally if you don't have the patches on. I mean, anybody can try it. Just simply make patches, put it on your shoulder, a sports bra, and just go do something that you cannot do usually, and you see how much you can accomplish. That's another test.
We have to come up with different ways of doing it and see what we do. We're seeing a lot of results with the ganses here in Africa. In Africa now, we are seeing huge leaps in the structure of the interaction of the fields of plasma of the GANs. But those who did this, you got to take it a step further. Or those of you, that's what I said before. We got those who get we're happy working with the GANs, those who are happy to work with the nanomaterial, and those who start becoming the instrumentation side. And the people who become the plasma side, the ones who become a flight side. And this is beautiful to see. We need this. These are, they might not be used at all, but they start to enlighten the others to find new ways to do it. And this is beautiful. There is nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly done according to the science of what is there. And maybe we had this science. Now we have to look at it in a different way.
Like in a way, what people are doing when they're doing the pendulum or even the dowsing and so on is they're using those tools as a way of showing their emotion. I think it's
possible.
So is it possible to influence something that's hanging on a thread, let's say a pendulum, that way? Can we influence with our emotion?
Let me explain to you something we see now with the people who use different kind of ganses. We see people who take like liquid plasma with no gans in it, just the water. If they take it at night before sleep, they sleep a solid night. Majority of the people do. What does the water change the emotion that you sleep? We see this more or less on daily basis. We don't give any medicine. We don't administer any medicine. We only administer condition of the field water. And if the reality is standing the way it is, we can sit and do it and measure it. And the reality is that the course of measuring is for us. What we measure, at what distance we measure. There is nothing wrong with it. This is fantastic to see at least a new generation of people are developing these kind of technologies to measure. We need it. Without it, we are crippled. At the moment, the authorities and the governments who use the technology and allow to experiment on it, we're all working blind because we see the results. Because we see the matter field results. What is the plasmatic field results? Because we are made of plasma.
Alan mentions he wanted to share that he wonders what he measures. I left the Bovis unity and I come to millions of Bovis units day by day. And he mentions how it seems to be increasing, the field emitted increasing day by day around this generator. And he says, I cannot say yet if it changes something in my life because I keep eating and as I am never sick, everything is fine. But one thing is certain, I still feel better and better. And now he's working with dressing up his generator and connecting it with some solar panels and so on. And anyway, so it's one of another.
It's good. Let's put it this way: we need to create tools like this, scientifically validated. Scientifically, we can do. This is what it gives. This is what it does. and it's good if anybody comes up with method like this, or as more what do you call it, equipment type measure that we can say this is standard because we can measure it exactly. Is this a way to do? Can we change this one to a system that we can put the material inside it and we see it? Maybe we can invite them in to teach us how it works, to show us how it works.
Maybe they need to create a GANS pendulum.
Yeah,
that way it would have the connection with the amino acids and whatnot, the connection to the
you see what
motion.
we are blind to. What we are blind to this, what is on the screen, is a video to show how the measurement was done.
Yeah, I'll try to get in contact with this person and see if we can get them on to show a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Cash. Hello, Rick. All together, this is Klaus too from Austria.
Yes.
We had last weekend, we have a workshop with 20 people. So we work with a special pendulum from basalt rock, and we work with this method since 25 years. This is a scientific method, a resonance method to show some fields. And we filmed this whole workshop, and now we translate it to English, and we can show
Can you let me I'm going to cut you through because you said something. You said you videoed it. Can you compress this to like a half an hour, and we give you a space next week to show, to explain, or in 2 weeks' time?
We began yesterday to cut the video, the film, and I have to spoke with the film team how long it took to cut the prime session, and then we can show it for the conference. I think Klaus drives, Dr. Briller drives to Rome, and I can give him this, or we can make it from Austria to Rome. We try to standardize all the measurement with this kind of pendulums, so all people have the same references and the same standard of measurement.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yes,
we need this. We have to standard that. We have to understand.
Yes, and we see all the people can get in a few hours. They can get all the same reactions.
But can we see the machine next? I mean, put it this way: can we see the machine in?
It's not a machine. It's a basalt pendulum. I sent it also
the system, the way you show it, the use of it, the way it's used. Yeah.
Yes, this is a standardized method we use for 25 years to measure ecosystem of fields, and so we can show also the difference between gravitation and magnetic fields. Well, all ganses have two types. It's like the water, yes, and we can see what is the gravitational side, what is the magnetical side, and how we bring the best resonance point between the fields. That can be seen. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. But you got to educate us.
Okay,
you know it for 25 years. We got to understand it in a layman what it is. It's the first time I see it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the first time to a lot of us to use normal. That's why I said, as a human race, we have all the knowledge we need. We just got to understand how to do it.
Yes. We have to bring it together.
Yeah. So if you can be kind enough to bring the knowledge and show us in physical reality how it works, how it is, and is it a freestanding of a frame, or is somebody holding it?
No, we hold it. And in Austria,
what about if you make a freestanding frame?
You need the interaction between the Earth's magnetic field, the biomagnetic field, and the GANS fields.
Let's try a frame.
In Austria, there was a study 15 years ago from the Ministry of Research, and we the delta muscle comes in the action when we hold some pendulum in between the magnetic field from the Earth and the biomagnetic field. And then it brings the reaction from the delta muscle. It's the same muscle you
okay, let me see. So it's the interaction of the emotion. So if
Yes.
I hold the pendulum, I will not get the same result.
When we standardize your emotions or your reaction, you became the same reaction. There are
Same figures.
yes, there are 9 figures, and all the people become the same figures. And we
I
can.
think it's something to expand on, but it's something we have to become non-touchable. What it means,
Yeah,
your pendulum is hanging in the air,
yeah.
but your material is touching the ground, and we know it's the shearing field. In a way, if we can hang the what do you call it, the material at the same height as the pendulum, or at least under it, that the field interaction is more or less the same, would we see the same strength or much bigger strength?
We can try this. This stones, this basalt stone has his own magnetical effects. I see this when I show the people with a big stone, and they have the ring magnets, as you show also the field between the planets. And this magnet jumps to the stone and holds on the stone. Many natural elements have a diamagnetism, and also this basalt rock.
Yeah. Okay, that's not a problem. Let's see what we can do. Let's see where we can go.
Have to look.
Come and teach us, enlighten us.
Okay.
And maybe other people will come up with different ideas and different ways to do it. And it will be interesting to see if it's flat on the table, you're measuring it. What about we put it upright? Would we see a different dimension measures?
I have understand what you said before. When we have a Ganz ball on the table, is a different interaction when the ball hangs. Yes.
Yeah. So is it stronger or is it weaker?
You become more fields. This is stronger.
Stronger, yeah, because you have less attachment to the earth magnetic, or what do you call it, to the matter state and the magnetic field. Because even the table creates its own field. It's a plasma condition. So the further you go, you more measure freer space away from it. But it is very interesting. Try to enlighten us next week. At least bring the system to show us in real time.
Okay.
And if there are videos you can show us. This is the beautiful things we are all doing. We are adding to the knowledge in a very direct way, in a very positive way. So we need instrumentation. The flight system in a 3 dimension is getting built by people in the background that you will see. This chart to me allows us to look at the 3-dimensional figures of it, the structure of it. This is how it is and how it's been. And so we have to see how it comes. We got to learn. We are students, we are knowledge seekers. And you bring a new knowledge on the table, let us all learn.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Mr. Kesh?
Yes.
This is Guillermo from Mexico. I live in Germany.
Yeah.
And I got a question for a long time. I do not understand the position of plasma instead of temperature. What is hot and cold? What is this relationship with plasma?
The heat does not touch the plasma as such, but it does in a way of very small on the matter state. The field, the strength of the plasma as a whole, we should not see much difference in respect. It's like if you put only CO2 in a patch, Whenever you touch it, it's still cold. Whenever you touch it, it's just cold.
Mm-hmm.
If you put a zinc oxide, you don't get that coldness. If you put copper oxide, you don't get that coldness. Can we stop these pictures, please? The process is how we understand only at the matter state of the plasma, the environmental temperature affects it.
The temperature is a vibration or is a
Pardon?
of the plasma?
Pardon? Can you repeat?
The temperature is a vibration, is some kind of frequency, or is just
Temperature is the release of the energy in a given strength.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when the plasma of the gas is at a given strength of the environment that can interact, you will see the temperature difference, or what you call heat. You don't see the interaction of the plasma with a transition strength, because it's literally it just goes through it. So the plasma has to be at the strength of the environment that it can create the interaction. Otherwise, it's very much what you call neutrinos. They just go through because they're higher order. They don't interact. The lower order is not there.
So I hear some people that they got some experience with the plasma. They said that in the center of the sun of the earth, there is not hot. There is plasma inside, and the plasma is not necessarily hot. Could be that truth?
Pardon?
I hear some theories about that in the center of the sun, a star, is not warm, it's not hot. The temperature.
It depends. If you're at the strength of the plasma, you feel it because it's the interaction at your level.
Ah, now I get it.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to be at that point. Neutrinos obviously cross the boundary. We don't need to speak about neutrinos. In the brain of the man, with the astronauts we spoke about, when the energy gets to the water and it becomes the level energy strength of the water in the eye, they show themselves as a photons or as a light. But they are not interacting with anything when they go through the brain, because they are higher order. To them, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
It's the way it bypasses. They open a passage through it. Till the passage becomes equal, it can interact. With the lights, if you look at the energy of the sun, if we interact with the full spectrum of all the magnetic fields of everything which is in interaction with the sun, most probably we don't get a bright light. We get a different color light. We might get a different speed of the interaction of the light. Maybe you call it in the matter state aurora. We see a spectrum of lights, what we call a rainbow. It's the same in the field. You have to be in that strength to be orange. You have to be in that strength to be yellow.
Okay, so if we got enough density of plasma, and we are connected with this plasma.
And that strength with the plasma. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Shall we call it a day? It's nearly...
Okay, yes, you've done quite a bit there, Mr. Kesh. We have Rene Meska. Maybe you can show his, he's got something he can show for next week, his Tesla plasma setup. Maybe we can look forward to that.
Paul also had a question about how gender is formed.
Pardon?
Paul from Togo also had a question about how gender is formed.
How gender is formed, okay.
So
we want to put that off to next week, is that what you mean? Or we done for now, Mr. Kesh? I think we're done, aren't we?
Yes, we call it a yes. We call it a
Okay.
That's
Very
perfect.
good. It's
Thank you
been
very
over
much.
3.5 hours.
Thank you
That's
for
fine.
today. And
Thank you.
hopefully we meet you in Rome. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, let me bring up the screen here to say goodbye. And thank you once again, everyone, for attending the 163rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, March 16th, 2017. And as always, we'll see you next week, and may you have a good week of learning and evolving. Okay, I'll end the live stream. And we'll just take a short time while the video winds down in the Zoom.